What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 10K on the Bay. This is our weekly Monday Mastermind call. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Let's get straight into it. We're going to go right into our eBay numbers. So if you guys can pull up that document, that would be awesome. I'm going to share the screen. Let's start with me. I'll be really quick. I put 1,100 items on auction. So this is the first time since probably late January that I am under 1,000 items. I actually can't keep up with my Husky store is almost 10 sales a day with 600 listings. So it's really hard for me to keep that one growing. And then everything that's not in a very specific niche, I'm throwing to auction. So there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff right now, but I have about $40,000 worth of auctions going right now. So it's going to be kind of insane. I'm already starting the packing process for next Monday. So should be pretty exciting. And then my goal I guess we'll go over goals later. Let's start with Prince. Where are you at this week?
So this week I am at 185 active listings
Okay,
and $38,204.
nice. So that went up.
Yep.
And you've got some multi-quantity. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Sam is not here yet. Kevin, do you know where you're at for the week?
Yes, I do. I'm at 130 active and about $46,000 listed.
Nice, killing it. So your average sale price went up $40 too. So you got some multi-quantity stuff in there. Awesome. Ashley?
I'm going to feel awesome coming after you guys. So I'm at 164 active listings and $5,500 in money.
That went up?
So I did have a bunch of sales in my last 2 weeks have been some of my strongest, and I sold some higher priced items. And I think my average sale price went up to $30 just in the last 2 weeks because I've been listing higher priced items like purses and new with tags clothing. So, and
Very
then
nice.
I know I told Chris, but since I wasn't here last week, I do have a wholesale shipment of new with tags clothing coming this week, knock on wood. That should help bring my average sale price up as well, about 200 items. So I'll have plenty to list.
I was going to ask if that had arrived yet, but not yet this week, right?
Not arrived yet, but I'm waiting with bated breath. Hopefully it all works out. Everything looked great and the brands look really great. So I'm very hopeful, but it could blow up in my face soon. I mean, who knows? We'll see. You don't know if you don't try, right?
Are any of those items multiple quantity?
Yes, they are.
Okay, great. Sounds good. Laura, how's the week?
Yeah, I have 974 active and 25,712 and 33 cents.
Nice. So that everything went up, average sale price and number of items.
Yeah.
Exciting. Holly?
So I apologize for not having this ready.
No worries.
But I can guarantee they are lower than last week.
Okay.
We were just getting back from ASD and I did a huge purge of all of my inventory yesterday.
How so?
I tried to cull it by like half,
Okay.
and I think I did that and sold some lots and then, got rid of it.
Did you sell them locally?
So I sold, like 130 pieces through DMs, and then took the rest to Closed Mentor and Plato's Closet today. Turned that into inventory and donated the rest.
That's awesome. I sold like 1,600 comic books to a comic book place locally, and then a bunch of stuff through DM and Instagram too. It's amazing how you can offload some stuff. I feel naked though without all this stuff.
No, let it go. It's beautiful.
I haven't tried Let It Go for selling. I have used it to source a little bit.
No, just like generally.
Yeah, let it go.
She means just like get rid of it, don't hoard it.
Yep. All right, Mary, where are we at?
Let's see. My numbers are definitely a little different than what I think that would be. So that puts me at, 1 second, sorry.
No worries.
That's 453 active now, so that dropped. I'm having a hard time catching up and listing with all the sales. And that means that's 9,637. So that's dropped.
That's okay. So we're trying to get to the elusive 600 listed. So do you think, let's see, But sales are picking up. You had a lot of sales then because you had.
Yeah, they are. So I'm trying to catch up with what I'm selling, just doubling whatever I'm selling. I guess that's a good problem, but not really if I want to catch up to 600.
For sure. So what do you think you could do differently this week? We'll go in reverse order for homework. What do you think that you want to work on this week to help you get closer to that 600 number?
What I'm noticing is most of the items that are being sent to unsold are items that I've had for over 2 months, and that's kind of the average that I have. I don't have anything in my inventory that's older than 2 to 3 months. So I think what I'm going to do now is, since I have 0 auctions that are going to be selling, move those older items that have been 2 to 3 months old, which is not really normal for my store, put them on auction and just kind of purge, kind of like what Holly did.
That's a good idea. And then I think, have you decided sort of on what niche you're selling, or are you still selling a bunch of categories?
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, I'm kind of going towards the hard goods at the moment. I haven't picked up any shoes lately, so I'm gonna say hard goods. But I'm not 100% confident, only because I have the majority of my stores also a bunch of women's clothing.
Awesome. Yeah, I do think that if you're moving into the hard goods, you can sort of be an everything store. And I think that that's awesome. I know you had mentioned last week Tech and Sports, which I wanted to mention to all you guys. I think you do follow him. I think it's a him. But 6,000 items solo. That's amazing. So pretty interesting. Let's go next to Holly. What do you want to work on this next week?
So this next week, I'm personally setting some conservative goals. We packed this week, moved the weekend, but they are completing paperwork for the loan on my house, closing out the financing agreement I have there. It's dragging on forever. And then everything that I sold at Plato's and Mentors, I traded for new inventory. So list those and finish the paperwork, and I'll feel pretty good.
That's awesome. Laura, what do you want to work on this week?
I think the biggest thing is I want to get to around 1,100 active, and just try to stick to sourcing, a little bit more higher dollar items. I'm trying to be more picky in how I source. So I just really want to get that fixed price a lot higher with like minimal listing.
Perfect. That'll be good because your amount listed can go up. But it's been steadily going up every week, so that's great. 1,100. You were at one point over 1,000, right?
Yeah, right before eBay opened, I had hit 1,000, but then I had like a bunch of stuff that went unsold that I had to get relisted, and then I actually do have about 100 and some drafts that I'm going to make active here in the next couple of days. I just have to add some pictures, and they'll be up.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to pick your brain on your lister girl because she's awesome, and I know she's going back to school, right?
She's gone this week. It's all me now, so that'll be interesting. We'll see what happens.
We need to get a helper. Awesome. So that's a good goal for this next week, 1,100, and also make sure that if you can get the average selling price, it's pretty high already at 34. But let's see if we can go up a little more.
Yeah.
Kevin, what do you want to work on this week?
Yes, sir. So I want to try to obviously get out and source some product, and then just continually upload stuff. I got a ton of drafts that are not done. They just need photographs. I feel like that's the most time-consuming thing. So I haven't really sat down and actually just banged it out. I really need to do that. I've been working like 6 days a week, so it's kind of been tough trying to balance the two, but we'll get there when we get there. Everything's increasing as it should be. Sales are doing great. Just getting ready for Q4. I'm super excited for Q4.
You've been trying to get to this elusive 50K. You're 46 now. Have you had 50K listed?
It's so intimidating.
Have you had 50K listed before?
No, I've never gotten to 50K, so this will be the first time. And it really is intimidating. I actually got in 60 pairs of the same shoe, so it was all a variation, and it sells for like $75 per. And I was really thinking, like, I didn't do the math out on it. I was really thinking just listing that one shoe was really going to put me over that mark. And as soon as I hit list and I looked and it wasn't there, I was just so mind boggled. Like, I was like, wow, this is a little bit more than I expected. But yeah, I mean, I'll get there. Of course, I only sourced for 1 day this week. I had help on another day, so when you're only sourcing that little bit. I have tons of cash sitting that I need to put into product. So I just got to get my butt out there and get the job done. But yeah, it's definitely a daunting task.
On
right
those
now.
130 listings, you know how many items you have? Roughly?
Do I know how many like shoes I have? It's somewhere, I'm not positive. I don't want to even say a number, just because you always make me nervous when I say numbers. I'm not exactly positive how many specific pairs I have. It's over 1,000. I just don't know. I don't know a true number, to be honest.
That's cool. I just wanted to share that in the earlier group with Hustlebee, he just hit 80,000 for the first time, and he's basically sourcing only sneakers that are over $100 now.
Okay.
And it takes him 2 full days of sourcing to get inventory. It's harder when your dollar amount is higher. It takes a little.
Now he does it full time, correct?
He does it full time. So
yeah, see, I'm part-time hustle, but I definitely think I could step my game up, especially with the connections I have to get. I would love to be at 100,000 before December comes around, but I mean, again, I got to get out there and do it. So I just had to get the cash right.
That's right. And then, so this week you just want to work on photographs?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't really need to work on them too much. I just got to do them. Just got to sit down, take the time, get it done, and list the product I have. I always talk about like getting to that 50,000, but then every single day there's still so many shoes that are sitting around not listed. So it's like I really got to just bang that out. But yeah, I just got to photograph and source and then list.
Perfect. So Prince, how you got a lot of stuff going on. How is the buying and how's the stuff? How's the wholesale clothing?
So it's going pretty good. So I'm still trying to buy more inventory. I spent around 50K out of the 80K that I got from PayPal. And so here's the thing with my situation. I'm considering rebranding my entire electronics thing into just like a general store, because I've been working with some clothing and it's actually really interesting because the margins are a lot higher and it's a lot safer. And the return rates, like with electronics, is just it's such a big hit when you get returns that like it's hard to handle as a one-man person. And like, I don't know, like as a small business, I think it's better to just do everything. I mean, keep it general instead of one specific niche, like electronics especially. So yeah, I'm really, really considering rebranding and just making a general store. And I just want to mention that call video that I did. I got 3 good calls in, one from a regular supplier, and I did 2 cold calls. I sourced some things. So I just need to go back. It's like, I think 15 minutes of audio. So I need to like go back and bleep out like personal information on there. But then when I do that, I'll post that up.
That's awesome. Yeah, just as an update for people who are watching, Prince is going to record some calls and maybe develop a course or classes on how to negotiate, because I think that's also something that I get a lot. How do you negotiate over the phone to get a deal or supplies, instead of like, can you give me all your good stuff for really cheap? Doesn't work very well for a lot of people. So a little more finesse required. That's cool. So today's topic is other sources of income. I think it's important now, especially since, our parents' generation, they had 1 or 2 sources of income their entire lives. And now it's like 7 career changes for people who are, younger. So I think it's important to think about different income streams, but also not spreading ourselves too thin so we don't get anything done. Let's start in the middle. Ashley, do you want to start? You can be as general or as specific as you want.
Sure. So obviously Amazon and eBay. Amazon's a huge stream for me. It's actually like a confliction. Like, when I'm focusing on eBay, I can't focus on Amazon and vice versa. But those are 2 great income streams, and I would encourage everyone to get into Amazon as quickly as you can, even if it's just a little bit, just because there's amazing potential there. But yeah, so those 2 have been really great. Poshmark, of course. I'm really I have barely any listings in Poshmark, but I know cross posting is really powerful because you're getting a second audience and all your stuff. And then of course Etsy. I don't have an Etsy store, but that's something I do want to get into. But as far as like other income streams, there's of course, like, as you gain a social media following, the potential for affiliate marketing, affiliate income stream. Like if you have a product that you recommend. Sorry, it sounds like one of my kids might come in this room, so please
That's okay.
don't.
Special guest.
A scene in Jurassic Park when the velociraptors are coming in to that one room, they can like learn to open the door. So yeah, that's one stream. Like, I don't want to be super mark like too much into that, because that turns people off for sure. But every now and then, if there's a great deal on something and you post your link and people buy through it, that's potential money. And so anyways, that's something I've been hoping to grow, and that'll just grow as an audience grows. And we, as a family, invest in a Vanguard account, 401k, and my husband's getting into cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. That's his like fields of expertise, is finance and audit and information systems and all that stuff. So we've invested a little bit in Bitcoin. But like not tons. This won't be our whole life savings in Bitcoin, but so yeah, definitely having like stocks and investing in mutual funds is such an important tool as well. Like, we're much more interested in things that will accumulate, will grow over time, rather than depreciating assets like cars and other things. So we drive old cars and we invest our money in other accounts. So I think those are all. I mean, I did freelance writing before I started reselling, and that was a great outlet too. That's something that any mom can do, anyone can do. If you go to textbroker.com, or there's other like iWrite.com, you can write. I mean, it's not for a ton of money, a penny or two a word, but over time it can add up, and it's all from your house. So that also is a stream of income if people are interested. And then from there, people can hire you on. Like, if they like your writing, they'll hire you on for side projects that pay a lot more. And that's how I grew from 1 penny a word to 25 cents a word, just by growing my reputation in my portfolio. So I don't do tons with it right now because my time is stretched thin, but definitely a cool source of income if someone's wanting to go that route who doesn't know how to start.
I've also seen people who have recurring writing gigs, maybe for a magazine or a blog, and they get paid a certain amount for like recurring, one article a month or something like that. Those seem to be somewhat lucrative.
Definitely, for sure.
How about you, Holly?
Well, for a long time, my incomes were Airbnb, a full-time job, and eBay. I kept Airbnb, but right now my biggest income is eBay. I do have a part-time job, and Amazon, a little bit of Poshmark. I have actually a lot of listings, but I don't think I actually interact well with the platform, so it doesn't do much, even though it's on the burner.
Sorry, I was on mute. Do you have a system for evaluating which one you want to work on more? Because the grass is greener where you water it, right? So how do you decide where to put your energy?
What a beautiful question. So that's something I've had trouble with forever and am working on. The time the eBay Open and ASD gave me a lot of time to think about it repeatedly, as it was like something that was obviously consistent in all the people who were doing really well. I have actually just shut down Airbnb. It helped me buy a house, and that's good, but we had our last guest the day before we left on our trip. So now I am going to be focusing eBay, Amazon very pointedly for a while. But eBay is my focus right now. And I think it will go over to Amazon, though. I think it works best whenever eBay funds Amazon, in my experience.
Absolutely. Let's go to Kevin. Kevin, are you working on other streams of income, keeping everyone on their toes with random order?
Yeah. You started in the middle and just kind of went wherever. But yeah, so I definitely am interested in, getting as many different streams of income as possible. Right now it's mainly shoes. I'm fully tied into mastering one thing before moving on to another thing. So I don't want to split time too much. I already have a full-time job that I am successful at, and I try to move up in my corporate job, whatever. And then, I own the business. I'm passionate about shoes. It makes the time go by quicker. So I want to be the best at reselling shoes that I can be before I devote any time to any other side hustles or anything like that. I got a 401k. I'm interested in stocks. I have friends that trade. Instagram definitely does give you a lot of different opportunities to, I think somebody else had mentioned earlier, affiliates and stuff like that. So there's tons of stuff you can do that way. I've been approached on Instagram about different like clothing brands and stuff like that, and they pay you to, you know, sponsor their brand, which is cool. Besides that, you already know I try to get the money up to a certain amount and then put it into real estate. So that's my other thing. I want the money to make money, but I don't want to go too crazy because, again, I want to be able to run my business and not let my business run me. I know a lot of people that are successful in one field, and then they take that and they'll have like 5 businesses that they own. And I'm like, you know, where's your head at? You're like, how can you even afford that business the right amount of time that it needs to be successful? Because you're just all over the place. Like, I don't even know what your interests are based on what you own. So I'm trying to just run the shoe thing for right now, get it up to where it can be, and then go from there. I'm having fun with it. I really enjoy it. I enjoy doing the calls with you guys. So that's it. Those are my streams of income. Nothing too crazy.
Awesome. Laura?
Yeah, so my husband and I both work. I still have a cosmetology business, so I do like weddings, nursing homes, contracted work. I do family and friends. So I still do that on the side. And then also my eBay business. And I want to like start working on cross posting. But like Kevin said, like I've really been trying to master eBay like the best I possibly can and reach my goals at eBay before like pursuing other platforms and really learning that. I just really want to hit my goal first. And make sure I have like a steady line of income on eBay before I invest my time in other platforms. So I am going to be cross posting to Poshmark and sending things to the Real pretty frequently. And then I also tried Amazon, but honestly, guys, like I like selling clothing. I do eventually want to get into like the health and beauty side of Amazon, but like I said, I really want to be like focusing my time on eBay right now. And then also like as far as my husband, he also has 3 jobs at any given time. Like he's an EMT. He also takes classes with the GI Bill because he's ex-military. And then he also is still in the reserves. So he does duty every 3 weeks. So like we have multiple streams of income through the both of us. And then we invest in 401ks. We have mutual funds. We do stock trading. Like we basically want to grow our money, just like what you guys said. And then also we want to try to get as much cash back as we possibly can. So like any kind of bill we can possibly pay, we pay on our cashback credit card. And we didn't do that until we became 100% debt free. Like we didn't invest in anything like at all until we paid off all our debt. That was our biggest goal, was to have like as much income coming in so then we can actually invest it in what we want properly without having to worry about paying our bills at the end of the month, right? So like before we invested in any of this stuff, like at all, we paid off all our debt. And so, but we do put everything on a cashback credit card. And that was honestly just to build our credit. Like our credit was crap before we paid off all our debt. And now we have a really great credit score just by paying literally everything that we would already pay straight from our checking account. We now pay on our cashback credit card, and then we pay it bi-monthly because that way when the credit company reports your bill to the federal agencies, it's at a really, really low balance or a 0 balance, which is great for your credit score. So if you pay a credit card off bi-monthly, you're not going to have like that outstanding balance whenever they report to the federal agencies, and it'll boost your credit up a lot. Like we were able to raise it in like 3 years just by doing that. And we also do like a lot of cashback apps. Like when I go grocery shopping, I use like all those cashback apps, like Ibotta, the Saving Star app, Walmart.
We lost her.
Oh no, she was going in too. Like I was really about to write down some of these apps. Like
I need to learn how to do more.
Anything I
There
can.
we go.
Don't stop her
Hold
now.
on 1 second because I'm like not hearing everybody. Hold on 1 second.
A little bit of a lag.
Okay, what were you saying?
No, you're just letting us know on your furious way of saving money on the go.
Oh yeah, like for real, I try to get as much cash back as I possibly can on anything. And that's just from like trying to pay off all that debt so fast. I just automatically do it now, like without even thinking about it. I'll just go straight to those apps and see what's on my grocery list before I even go out. Like I'm just automatic about it now. And that's really all it is. Like when you're investing in stuff like that or trying to get cash back, it's just making it second nature that makes it the best thing to do. It's just doing it all the time, every single time. And then you won't even have to think about it. It's just second nature.
Mary?
Let's see, kind of like you guys, I feel like Instagram does offer a lot of affiliates. I haven't really tapped into it too much, but I know that there's so many options, again, so many opportunities for you to share what you use as far as supplies, and so that you can share with the audience that you have that can benefit with the reselling. My significant other as well, you're not alone, actually, Ashley, your husband, we also invest on Bitcoin. Kind of dabbling into it. It's something new. Cryptocurrency is something that a lot of people may be a little bit hesitant, but I think I really believe it's like the next big thing. So we're trying to not get left behind on that. We do a little bit of stocks, and then it's a dual income. So he has his own corporate job, and then now that I'm doing eBay, I feel like we're able to combine both of our incomes. And then touching base on what Kevin said, where it's like we want to focus on something, like myself, I'd have to focus on eBay, but I'm kind of dabbling as well into Amazon, making that into another stream of income. And Amazon merch is something that I feel like you do have to get to be an expert in it, but once you stop dropping designs, like for example, Amazon merch, you can drop designs and it almost becomes a little bit more of a passive income. So even though I do eBay and I do Amazon, I feel like Amazon merch can kind of, the more you put into your products, into designs, you can get more by just letting it sit there and accumulating more purchases on the side. It's mainly the main streams of income that I have. I did in 2012, actually, when Poshmark first came out, I did give it a shot, and soon after I discovered eBay, I kind of abandoned Poshmark. But I know that cross listing can be an issue when it comes to selling it on one platform. It's kind of hard to, and that happened to me where I forgot to pull it out. So if you do decide to expand into having a lot of different platforms when you start cross listing, it's so important to remember to take them down and then to benefit you in the long run.
Awesome. Man, you guys are all so lazy. I can't believe I'm in the same group with you guys. So looking at that is really interesting because, I used to work for Lexus, and the average person that came in had a net worth of $1 million at the store that I worked at. And there's so many different philosophies. You'd meet two people who worked at the same company, same background. And one guy would say, I've never paid a cent of interest in my entire life, 100% cash, invested, lived off of savings. Next guy never paid cash for anything, put $1,000 on a credit card for a car, leveraged to the max. Like you're looking at like never one time paid cash for one thing, completely leveraged to the max. I've seen somebody who made $600,000 a month income and couldn't qualify for a car loan. So we're looking at, my boss is like, can't you just not spend money for 2 weeks? You could just write a check. How is it possible you can't qualify for a car loan? But he just had so much leverage, like 8-9 figures of real estate. That's how you get $600,000 worth of income, kind of. If you leverage yourself like that, it's a little scary, right? That's the opposite of some people who definitely for me, my significant other, she's never paid debt. She's never paid any interest ever. She's just extremely conservative, and she invests in stocks and that kind of stuff. It's different than me, where I'm definitely more aggressive with the ways that I look at stuff. And I think it's interesting that the easiest thing I think for us to leverage, because all of us are on social media, the products that we use that are valuable and people buying that stuff, almost anybody can set up an affiliate account for eBay or for Amazon. I think it's important that you're not overselling, you're just sharing what you're actually using and getting paid on that. I think that's something that everybody needs to do. Also, Amazon merch is interesting because from a lot of the stuff that I'm studying, if you're going to be an influencer on social media, you should have some sort of a thank you product that's around $30. And I don't think any of us have that, like a shirt that says hustle at home mom or feel good finds or clutch. But we don't have none of us have swag that people can buy just as a thank you, because I think we underestimate how valuable we are in our community, because we're all posting stuff, how to make more money. That's huge. There's nobody that does, all of us, I feel like, are doing okay, but we're still looking for different ways to make more money and learning from each other. I think we underestimate how incredible that is for people that may live in an area where they're not even exposed to anything. And now you're on Instagram looking at people making money hundreds of different ways. As far as income streams for me, I'm focusing now on 3. I want to host 10 calls like this, and I'm at about 5. So I need 5 more calls like this because I'm really passionate, love listening about the different people's ideas. I like it. It doesn't feel like work. It also pays me. Secondly, eBay, I'm really, really focused on, and I'm going to finish my 10,000 listing goal before doing Amazon. I am going to do Amazon, but after I reach 10,000 listings. And then my third thing I'm working on is YouTube, which is the only thing I have ever done in my entire life that's the same amount of work every week, and my income goes up every week. I've never, ever done anything that does that. So that is mind-blowing to me, how that would work, that it's sort of compounding. You make more videos every week, so there's more stuff for people to watch. There's more ad revenue, more opportunities for affiliate stuff. I think that's probably how people who do wholesale or they launch one private label and then a second private label and a third private label. Each time it compounds and people buy the whole line. I think that's something that's very rare. And I think that we live in a world that's sort of, because I don't think eBay and Amazon, as far as arbitrage, doesn't produce more income than the work that you do up front. It doesn't pay dividends like stock or other stuff that we're working on. So now I'm just going to open up just the forum. If you guys want to share any ideas, or what do you guys think so far? There's been a lot of information. I wrote down a lot. Everyone's so quiet. You guys are tired.
No, I'm not tired at all. Chris, did you talk about your rental car thing? Because that's a source of income for you, correct?
Yeah. So I have 3 rental cars, and they're producing about $300 a month revenue. I'm sorry, net. So I make $30.
Profit. That's profit.
Profit. So I make $30 a day, and they're renting on average 23 days a month, which is a lot. So, and that revenue minus the cost of the expenses and the insurance,
the depreciation of the car and
all that stuff, I'm still getting $300 a car. And the average cost of my car is $6,000. So there's no $6,000 investment that's producing $300 income. You guys should all be buying a car and shipping it to me, because the area that I live in,
that's a good way to go.
My girlfriend has never owned a car, and she probably never will. In this area, it's possible to not own a car. Like, it's a different thing. She's like, why would I want the expense of insurance and parking and dealing with a car when I don't have to deal with a car, and I can drive a different car every day? And it's a different mentality. You can rent a Tesla for like $80 instead of paying $100,000 to own one.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
Totally a different type of mentality. And I think that's probably one of the more lucrative things, although it's not passive. I have to take care of the cars. It is a little bit of a headache. Currently, I'm not worth that much money, but I imagine as that starts to grow, I'll be more worried about liability. The insurance does cover $1 million per person, but if somebody renting one of my cars were to hurt somebody important, $1 million runs out fast, especially in the Bay Area. So I don't know what kind of umbrella policy I would need. But right now they would go after the rental car company, not me, because their pockets are deeper. So that is interesting. They just raised another round of financing, so that makes me feel a little more comfortable. But they've been around for a long time, and these rental car companies, I feel like car ownership is going to die here first. It may not die everywhere, but here there's 17,000 Uber drivers. So I mean, it's not you don't need a car here.
Yeah, it's nice for that area.
I actually looked into that when you'd mentioned it, and I actually thought from the description that it was one of those where you're just anywhere and you locate a car on an app, which I think is Zipcar. But then I saw yours is basically Airbnb for cars. Yeah. Which I was like, okay.
And it's in neighborhoods.
Okay. So do you just like park your car, a car you own, in a neighborhood for use?
So what I did is I parked them all.
Sounds so sketchy.
I parked them all in front of my girlfriend's house so she can check on them. But like, as far as what you're supposed to do, it's also near 2 giant apartment complexes. It's almost the same people that rent it every time. So they're going to groceries. most of the time it's Costco. I'll find Costco receipts. I'll find dinner receipts. I'll find college textbooks in the back that people have forgotten. So it's being used for food runs, maybe munchie runs, because sometimes it's in the middle of the night that people are going to go get stuff.
I was just gonna say.
It's like, or weekend trips, people will take it to the beach or something. But
Okay.
there's a lot on the commuter cars, like the Prius, people are taking that for road trips. But you know, the ones that are like I have an SUV also, and that car seems to be taken only to dinner.
Okay.
So it is Airbnb for cars.
Okay, the one thing I couldn't find, and if we need to take this offline, that's fine.
Sure.
But like the requirement for the cars, because I was like, how cheap can I get a car? And I couldn't find that.
It's less than 10 years old and under 125,000 miles. I would recommend Japanese car under 75,000 miles, and don't spend over $7,000. Because then your car payment with good credit is like $100. So like you only need to rent your car 4 or 5 days out of the month to break even.
Mhm.
And worst case scenario, if you try to sell a commuter Japanese car on the internet, it doesn't take very long. So those are like the most desirable, you know, I'd be like, how can I get rid of this discount gold? It'd be very easy to sell. So.
No, it would. We've actually talked about going to get a dealer's license. We're signing up like so that we can go to the auctions and buy cars, just because one of us really likes cars. So I'm going to put that on the list of arguments to get it done.
I have seen there's a really creative dude that has a mobile car dealership, and all of his cars are being rented while he's selling them. So he has no lot cost because his cars are just parked in people's neighborhoods. And when you want to test drive, he brings it to you instead of you going to because he has nowhere for people to test drive it. So he's like, if you need it, text me. I'll bring it to you. I'll find out wherever it is, and then I'll bring it to you. And that's extremely complicated. I think there's probably some fuzzy stuff there, but that's interesting because you could, in theory, flip cars. And I used to flip 9 cars a year at about $1,500 a piece. That's a great ASP, right? 10,000, but it takes a long time or not a long time. It's a different flipping a car. So there's a lot more regulations, and once you go over 9 in California, it might be a little more. You need a dealer's license.
Okay.
And when I worked for Lexus, it was easy because I knew all the car people. Now that I've been out of the car business for a while, I haven't been flipping cars as often, but that's something I think is all of us should flip at least 1 car a year. Just worst case, like if you were to get a really good deal, like I should always have a Porsche 911 because they're always really cheap and they don't lose value. So like there's no reason not to have one. So I'm just letting you guys know that's the ultimate sports car. Doesn't devalue, and they're not that expensive. So.
And bonus, then you get to rent a car when you have to go pick up inventory.
You can also, there's a gentleman that has 2 sourcing vans that are now on these rental car services that people use to move. He doesn't source it. He only sources once or twice a week. So the rest of the days, his van's making money. So that's, we can make our own little empire, I think, all of us.
Hey, Chris,
Also, Turo, go ahead.
I have a few ideas of things that I used to do without any money, like without any money to put in, of things that I would do to make money. I don't know if you want me to share.
Please.
I used to flip furniture. Like I literally used to find furniture on the side of the road, take it home, sand it down, paint it, do whatever, and literally flip it for quite a bit of cash. I mean, you can make a few $100 on something that's nicely painted, I used to also sell for other people. Like I would literally take their crap, sell it, and then get a commission just on like the local sites, not on eBay, like on local sites, just because they didn't feel like listing it. And they barely wanted anything because they just want to get rid of the crap, right? And then also, like people that have kids, children's consignments are like a gold mine, right? Because they flip so much inventory, so much. And actually, I've seen that children's consignment, if you have like good brands of clothing, will take for a decent price. Whereas like if you try to sell at a yard sale or even on eBay, like people don't want to pay anything for children's clothes. So I'd much rather take it to a kid's consignment and sell it there.
That's a great point. I
Yeah.
think also Holly was able to turn some inventory straight into cash at Plato's Closet. So you don't like, you could just, there are people at the Goodwill outlet that take stuff directly to Plato's Closet or Buffalo Exchange, depending on where you live, or whatever consignment local shops, and get cash immediately. Instead of waiting online, they can turn their $100 into 130 instantly. So that's something interesting. And I kind of see it as 100% profit when you sell something you already own.
Yeah.
To get started. Anybody have any
Yeah.
cheap ideas you want to share?
I don't have, sorry, this is off topic, Chris,
Go for it.
but I want to talk about Amazon really quick if I can.
Jump in.
Because, and this like maybe controversial, but I feel like the sooner you can sign up for an Amazon seller's account, the better. And that's, I like, because, and I know like, I think you can still focus on eBay, but like Amazon, I feel like is just getting, it was so broad, allowed so many sellers to do so many things. And then it's just narrowing. And people like me who got in, like, I feel like my husband and I laugh because I feel like I got like right ahead of like the wall of water and like Indiana Jones, right? Like I'm right ahead of it the whole time because I just barely get in with the textbooks, or I just barely get in with restrictions. And it is just, I feel like the longer you've had an account, the better Amazon treats you. Whereas if like, especially for Q4, which is where I made like $4,000 very easily as a stay-at-home mom that month, like you had to have an account already set up before September 19th with like, I want to say at least 100 items I had sold or something. I think that's the newer, at least that's this year too. I think like you have to have a seller's account open and with stuff selling before September in order to sell toys and stuff in December. And luckily I'd had that, and it was like a gold mine. I'd walk into Target, Walmart, go down any aisle, I could find anything, and Amazon had sold out of it, so it had skyrocketed in price. My whole cart would be full, and then I'd go check out and then just send it to Amazon, and it would sell the day it hit the warehouse. So like, not to like, I know like, sorry, I know it's so important to focus on your niche and what works for you. And like, I'm totally not knocking anyone who's focusing on eBay. That's totally fine. You guys are obviously far superior to me. So I'm, not coming from any place of like my high horse, but like, I would just recommend, even if you can, just sign up quickly for an Amazon account, send some stuff in. Cause I just keep worrying it's going to get narrower and narrower and harder later on. That's just my 2 cents.
I agree. And I also think that all of us eventually may have our own brand. So as
Yeah.
Amazon moves that direction, Amazon's going to be the biggest online retailer for sure. So if we have, Mary's apparel and she wants to get on there and sell specific, like a reseller fanny pack, which would be a super hot private label idea, right? And she has an audience already built, and she gets on the FBA and starts to rank high with the right keywords, which we're all learning. I think that is like amazing, the keyword information that we're learning in any platform, but especially Amazon, where they just have insane traffic. So, I mean, I still send stuff in that I find, especially new stuff. But I definitely think I should work into my routine to try to sell one of everything, at least to have the option to sell on Amazon.
Exactly.
So I think it's important.
If you sell that brand, then you're ungated later. Like really, like for me with Adidas, it was selling one backpack, and then I was ungated when all restrictions went down last year, which sucked, And I wish I'd gone and sold Nike, but I didn't. I was dumb. So yeah. Anyway, but like I also believe too, like you guys are doing so awesome. So I don't mean to knock any of that, but like maybe just open an account like Chris said and just send one thing in in a broad variety of categories, and then if you want to later, you have that option. You have a seller's account with history, with a few reviews, and then you can go back and fill it with stuff later if you want. So.
I just want to point out one trend that I'm seeing is that most of us live on a sort of fixed income. We live on a fixed amount of money. As our incomes are going up, we're putting that extra money in the different stuff. We're not that extravagant in this particular group, which I just want to point out that I myself am somewhat motivated by monetary stuff. Like I want a house in the Bay Area so bad, even though that's materialistic. And even when I don't know if I'll be 3% happier once I own a piece of property. But I'm just thinking that's the direction that I'm moving. I know Laura has the goal of buying a piece of property in cash in California, which is insane. So awesome to that goal. But that's like I am motivated by stuff and it's not watches or stuff, but it is, I do want a place somehow, even if it is a, rundown place where I might get shot. I will just feel so much more comfortable owning something here instead of being a peasant.
I think with owning a property, it's not just about the expense of purchasing. I mean, there's so many other expenses that go into owning a property that you don't think when you're renting. I mean, you don't just have to have, for me, for instance, I don't just have to have the set amount that I plan on purchasing this house for, right? I have to have like a set amount aside for when crap goes down, because like things are going to break, crap's going to happen, and guess what? It's yours. Like you have to take care of it. And so I think like when people go to look at owning a property, they don't realize like the responsibility of having not just like the responsibility of taking care of it, but the financial responsibility of paying for everything that goes along with it. Because honestly, sometimes, especially depending on the property that you're buying, if you're buying an older home, sometimes the fixes for that property will be just as much as the mortgage payment. You know what I mean?
Yep. So I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So I want everyone to let us know where we can find you. And I want to give people who have been listening an opportunity to chime in and ask us questions. Next week's topic is, what are you worth per hour? And I want us to think about that so we can determine what tasks we're working on. And it's just an exercise. I'm not saying that you're worth X amount of money. I just think it's interesting to look at what tasks make different amounts of money. Some you enjoy, you'll take a lower hourly, whatever. That's the topic for next week. So let's start with Mary. Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram at the moment. That's the only platform I'm available. So you can definitely leave a comment or DM me a message. I'm pretty friendly for the most part. So just say hi. Don't be shy.
Awesome. Holly?
You can find me at Thrift Love G. Mickey will be there every morning. Thrift Love G on Instagram. And we are moving this week into our new eBay and Amazon offices / house. So a lot of that will be in my story.
Beautiful. Ashley?
I am at Hustle at Home Mom on Instagram and on YouTube. I'm going to be putting more videos out there on YouTube, which is fun. So, but the, Instagram's for sure the biggest audience and where I post the most of.
Sounds good. Laura?
Yeah, I'm Thrifty Boss Babe on Instagram, as well as YouTube, and I'm right there with you, Ashley. I gotta post more on YouTube. And then I'm actually just changed my store name to Thrifty Boss Babe Store as well, so I'm branding everything together.
Kevin, where can people find you?
Yep. So I'm on IG, almost at 4,000 followers. So I appreciate everybody that follows me. You can find me on there at the Clutch Swag, and I'm going to try to do some more live videos. I feel like I neglect to post both on my story and my live a lot. So I want to try to do that and interact with people that do follow me. So if you guys have time, and I get a lot of questions now, and you want to send some questions, feel free. I'll definitely answer at some point or another. But yeah, hit up the Instagram.
Also, not on the call today, Prince and Sam. Their stuff will be in the description below. Like and subscribe to everybody, guys. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll see you guys next week.